Hi everyone, and welcome back to Golden Guild Gaming. I am your lovely host, Ben, but you're probably wondering again why Chris isn't here with me just like last weekend. That's because, again, just like last weekend, Chris and I goofed up. We lost some recording footage, and now this is basically being made because we needed to redo an episode of this game. But it had to be this game specifically because this game was actually given to us for free by the developers who contacted us. They wanted us to play it to get them a little bit of support and advertising, and normally you know that we play more relevant games and like more modern games kind of on Golden Guild Gaming, but we figured because this is the first time we've ever been contacted by a developer and this is a pretty cool game, we decided we would help it get some attention and play an episode of it on the channel. Now, Chris and I have actually tried to record an episode of this game twice, and both times, completely our own faults, we failed. We lost the recording. The first time, it was because I accidentally forgot to record the actual game footage, and the second time, it was because we lost. If you follow me, well, me and Chris, on the Golden Guild Gaming Twitter, at GuildGolden, then you saw I was pretty heartbroken because Chris and I lost an entire recording session's worth of footage of like battle block of every game, and you'll see the results of that more on whoopsie, this is some portal crap right here. You'll see the results of that with Battle Block on Monday, and you'll see another episode with just me tomorrow because we also lost that. But hopefully you'll still find it entertaining, and I'm just gonna flash through this game and show you some different features and make some comments on it and stuff, which isn't normally what we do. These are normally uncut Let's Plays, but because this is kind of a special occasion, we'll do it. So see you in a second. So this is another feature of the game. You saw at the beginning that the win command was... well, the win command was just getting to, like, the end gate, but for levels like this, the win command is collecting all of the, like, little star point bubbles, which is interesting. It's cool that they have different ways for you to complete levels instead of just that one simple thing. Now, I've said this every time we've gone to record this game. I'm not just going to blindly praise it. This game is obviously not, like, Game of the Year 2016. It's sold for $3 on Steam, and I'm going to talk about why that is worth it and not worth it for different reasons. It's very worth it because this game is, like, there's a ton of content out for it already, in that there are, I think, hundreds maybe, or at least some crazy large amount of levels released for it already at this point, and it's also worth it because you'll see as we get through the game that there are a ton of different gameplay mechanics that get introduced, and I don't even think Chris and I have run into all of them, but you'll see more in a second. New gameplay feature. So these are gates. They're not another, like, completion requirement like the last feature that I showed you guys, but they're interesting for sure because, like, when you go through them, they close and they turn into a new block for you to use in completing the level, which is... I'm not very good at this game, which is an interesting little thing to add into your game. It's an interesting little challenge, like things change as you pass through them, so you can't necessarily do the same thing over and over like you're able to in some other levels, and it's interesting. So I gave you some reasons a second ago why this game is definitely worth buying for $3, and I'm going to give you a reason or two now why it's not worth $3. It is very simple, like, especially for a puzzle game like it is. Most puzzle games that are sold for money like that do have maybe a bit more, like, just a bit more to them, like maybe 3D platforming mechanics or something like that, but that's not necessarily a required factor for a successful puzzle game. Let's go find a new gameplay mechanic. Here, grow blocks. These, as you go through them, again, they're kind of like the gates in that they change as you interact with them. They turn into blocks for you to interact with in the game, and that's a pretty cool thing. There are so many different features in this game that Chris and I have run into so far, so it's going to be interesting to see like how you and the audience feel about the game. New feature. So this is a really interesting and very confusing feature when you first run into it, because it can be kind of hard to deal with once they start applying it in like difficult ways. Like, you can even see I goofed up there, but that's just because I'm dumb. But anyway, yeah, like when you touch those bombs and run into them, I didn't even mean to reset. When you touch those bombs and run into them, they start a countdown, which will make them automatically explode. Or if you run into them again, then the countdown automatically goes down, and you can instantly blow it up if that's what you need to do to complete the level. This game does get really hard sometimes, as you'll see as we get further into the game. New gameplay mechanic. Here's a new, like, end game requirement gameplay mechanic that they added in. Well, it's not even really a new mechanic, it's just an interesting little thing because it's a new way to complete the levels, which I already said I like. It's where you have to blow up all the bombs to actually complete the level, as you saw in the menu a second ago. And that is cool because that adds a lot of possible challenges, as you'll probably see when I keep screwing up, which I tend to do a lot in this game, just because it can be very difficult. Oh, I screwed myself, didn't I? Yep. New gameplay mechanic. Now, one of the last gameplay mechanics that Chris and I actually ran into in this game is ice, and it's not only a new, like, type of block, but it's also a new way to complete the level, which are two things that I've already said are really cool about this game and that I like. But something that I also have to give this game credit for, it is really simplistic, and I don't want to seem like I'm blindly praising it. I already said it's very simple for a game that's sold for $3, but something that I do like about it is it's kind of like exciting soundtrack, because it is very sci-fi and kind of catchy, which works for it. And I'm not good at this. I actually think this is the level that Chris and I got stuck on all of the previous times we recorded this, just because we're not very good at it. Now, of course, you in the audience are probably yelling at us at how awful we are, and you just gotta press right, you just gotta press up, it's that simple. But it's actually a lot harder when you're playing the game. That's something that I've noticed. Like, when Chris and I were recording, I would be playing and he would be like, oh, that looks easy, there's no way that's hard, but it actually is extremely challenging. But anyway, like I was saying, the soundtrack and the sound effects both work really well for this game, and they add in a nice little bit of flair to it and a nice little bit of appeal, which I think is cool. You will figure out probably as you watch GoldenGuildGaming, if you plan on watching more, that I am a bit of a freak when it comes to gameplay soundtracks and like just sound in general for games, because there are some gameplay soundtracks and some songs that I absolutely love. Like, I was clenching my fist there because I'm so passionate about gameplay soundtracks. Now, I'm just failing here. I'll go back to... Oh, did we ever beat that? Yeah, that was the last level that we were able to beat. But anyway, I'll go to another gameplay mechanic here while I'm talking. Yeah, I'm absolutely, like, insane for video game soundtracks, because I'm a musician, which you might know, I've mentioned it a few times before, in that I play both piano and as part of the school program on clarinet and bass clarinet, so I myself have been playing music for many years of my life. Oh, I screwed it up again. So music is, like, really important to me, and I'm really familiar with a lot of different forms of music, and I finally beat that, so nice. Oh wait, there, now I beat it. So video game soundtracks can sometimes make or break a game to me. It's not that important, like, there aren't a lot of things in a game that will make it or break it for me, but if your game has a good soundtrack, it can definitely make it for me. I'm not going to say it can break it all the time, but an amazing soundtrack can make a game for me almost all of the time, and that's something that this game has. It's very simple, but it is a little, like, techno kind of dubsteppy sci-fi soundtrack, which I like. and that is actually coming up on close to the end of this episode. We didn't get very far in it, but that's just because this is kind of a preview for the game. The developer that actually contacted us is the one on the top in the bottom left corner. I can't really pronounce his name, I think they're foreign, but if you're interested in this game and you want to check it out for yourself, it is cheap on Steam, $3, and the developers are listed right there, so you could find it by them too on either Google or Steam. And if you do enjoy puzzle games like this that are kind of simple but have a lot of levels and like a lot of content, then I would recommend this to you, because like Candy Crush is something that's kind of similar in the same way. Like, it's addictive, but it's very simple, and there are just hundreds or whatever of levels. So if you enjoy that type of thing, then I would definitely recommend this for you. The game link will be in the description if you don't feel like Googling or opening up Steam. So, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow.